Good morning. Perhaps one of the more well-known and well-liked mitzvos is that of eating on Erev Yom Kippur. The Gemara and Yuma brings the pasuk that you should afflict yourselves in the ninth month. And the Gemara wonders, why does it say the ninth if the fast is on the 10th? And there's two possibilities given in the Gemara. One is that it teaches us that there's a din of Tosefes Yom Kippurim, that we add on to the actual day of Yom Kippur, and we start the fast on the ninth. The other approach is that of Chiyah by Rav Midifti, which is that anyone who eats on the 9th and 10th, not on the 10th, anyone who eats on the 9th of Yom Kippur, it is as if he fasted on both the 9th and the 10th. And the Rush explains that it's to show the chiba of God to us, the love that God has for us. Because if he commands us to fast on the 10th, he wants to make sure that we are ready and prepared to take that fast. And therefore he says, just like there's a mitzvah to fast on the 10th, there's also a mitzvah to eat on the 9th in order to be prepared to fast on the 10th. However, some Rishonim do not actually quote this. Even though it is mentioned in the Gemara, some Rishonim skip it. The Rif and the Rambam make no mention of the mitzvah of eating on Yom Kippur. And the Aruch HaShulchan points out, because there's a machlokas tanoim, because of the machlokas in the Gemara, what to use the pasuk. So the Aruch HaShulchan points out that the Rif and the Rambam are learning that pasuk is only to teach the halacha of Tosefes, of adding to the day of Yom Kippur. And they dismiss the opinion of the mitzvah of eating on Erev Yom Kippur. But the Rosh does quote it. And in fact, the Shulchan Aruch writes that it's mitzvah le'echol be'erev Yom Kippurim leharbos b'seuda, that there is a mitzvah to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. And he writes leharbos b'seuda, to increase in our meal, which does give the implication that it's really mitzvah primarily about having more of a meal rather than to giving a snack. But there are those who believe that there is a mitzvah also in snacking throughout the day. The Mishnah Berurah goes so far as to say that this is actually mitzvah min haTorah based off that pasuk, and also says that yesh la'adam lema'it belimudo be'erev Yom Kippurim k'dei le'echol v'lishtos, that one should even go to the extent that they should minimize their learning on Erev Yom Kippur in order to eat and drink. That does not mean that one should just stay in their kitchen and eat all day and not learn or do other things productive. But certainly that we should take the preparations to prepare for Yom Kippur, to learn, to do Ma'asim Tovim, to give tzedakah, etc. But that there should be a special attention to preparing ourselves by means of eating and drinking. The Taz points out in terms of what we should eat or drink, he does mention that we should just make sure not to overstuff ourselves. That looks gaibadik, it looks inappropriate, it looks a little bit haughty, but to just do it to the point where we are satiated. Now, the Shari Tshuva Rabbeinu Yonah actually gives an alternative reason, not that it's necessarily to prepare ourselves. That is one reason, but also because he says it's to show the simcha that the Zman Kapara comes, that by eating and drinking, having on Erev Yom Kippur, shows that we're so happy that on Yom Kippur comes and it's a day of Kapara. We know that Yom Kippur is one of the happiest days of the year. And he also writes that this meal and that this eating on Erev Yom Kippur actually counts as a Seudas Yom Tov. We have every Yom Tov a Seudas Yom Tov. We can't obviously have that on Yom Kippur. So he actually says that is the function of the eating on Erev Yom Kippur, is to fulfill that mitzvah. So we see we do have this mitzvah of eating on Yom Kippur for either preparing ourselves or expressing our sense of gratitude and joy on Yom Kippur. And we should fulfill that mitzvah and also all truly achieve those kaparos this year. Have a fantastic day.